All right, guys, Richmond's finally doing something about the James River, removing turds.
No more poop water.
Yeah. So they released a statement on 6 News. It says, Richmond launched a project to reduce excess sewage in the James River by upgrading its 1800 sewer system with an underground storage facility at Canoe Run Park. I don't know where that is, but it's a $100 million initiative that is supported by state grants, and the DPU will start site investigations and design work with a groundbreaking schedule for 2027, and it won't be done until 2029.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I know we saw that video the other day with the ratchet straps like holding pipeline together.
The pipeline is just on its last leg.
I was looking at that. I don't know if that's related, but that's clearly a sign of like the level of workmanship that we can expect.
Yeah.
So we already had the water crisis, and now they're going to two water crises, and now we're going to watch them fix the poop water problem, which has been an issue for like 20 years, maybe probably longer.
I feel like every year there's a new scare with the James River. It's like, okay, now we have E. coli, now we have whatever fish that are zombie fish. It's like, what are we doing this year?
The oversized or like the abnormally large lampreys, those big, the worm fish with just a mouthful of face. Nightmare fish, basically.
Yeah, miss me with that.
I'm not holding my breath for that.
No. And I spent a lot of time like on the river. And I'm at the top of the hill, so luckily I'm like in sort of like what is considered like a little bit of the cleaner water. But a lot of the times, like I get there and I'm like, I don't know, man. It's frustrating, to be honest. Like to have the fortune of living on a river city, but then the main feature of the city, which is the river, is neglected and like not maintained properly, is having issues, always having warnings, you know. And there is a lot of cool stuff, man. Like we have class 4 rapids in Richmond, which is kind of crazy. Like you wouldn't think that at first glance, but you have class 4 rapids, right? When they do the Dominion River Rock Festival, they've
people
got
travel.
Yeah, it's sick. It's really cool. And it's like, I wish it was, and this is great because clearly it is a priority. And I think with the water system and all the issues that we had, like it's clearly a priority now, but I'm sure we wish it would have been a much bigger priority for the past 2 decades, you know?
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
I wonder if these crises with the water maybe prompted some of this, like, you know, priority concern.
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely something that has come up, and they're like, we just got to get this done now.
Yeah.
It would be very interesting to see how they come up with $100 million for it.
Yeah. It says state grants. That's really all this says. It says state grants. So, you know, it's funded by the city, so tax money and, you know, whatever other sort of, you know, repair grants and stuff that, you know, I don't know. But I think there's a lot that we don't know about the whole water situation.
Yeah, and weren't we
Watergate?
Weren't we?
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Weren't we denied like a huge grant for that to get our water system fixed when that first happened?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure we got denied some kind of level of support. And so that's where I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
this sounds exciting, but like, are we really?
Yeah.
That's funny. You know, not funny, but like thinking about the Dominion River Rock, right? This has been going on for I don't know how many years, but it's an institution now, and people come from all over to go to this river-based 3-day, 2-day festival, however long it is. And those people are getting in the water. There's no warning signs about high E. coli content or like fucking poop particles, don't swim, this, that, and the third. They're just in there all willy-nilly getting water every which way, because that's like a money-making business model or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like the rest of the year, everybody else who is a regular or resident of the city is at risk of getting like the flu. Basically, when you go to the river and you swim and you don't take a shower, you're going to get sick.
I personally haven't been in that river in quite a while, just because it's scary.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Well, I think a couple of things. Like, I do agree. But also what happens is the city is forced to make a blanket statement about the whole river because they know that like the public goes to Belle Isle and all this stuff. Mm. And it just so happens that even though Belle Isle does have rapids and stuff, it is like at the bottom of the hill, right? So a lot of these places and where the outlet is for a lot of the sewage related stuff It just so happens to be like in the middle of like downtown in the city. And a lot of the more popular areas that people go to the river, especially people that don't live here, like they come from Chesterfield or whatever, they're going to Belle Isle. They're going to like the very populated areas like Browns Island. And that is where a lot of those tests are done. Whereas if you go to the top of the hill, it isn't as bad. And when you go to the rapids and stuff where people are doing kayaks, like the moving water, it's not as bad. So it is only certain parts of the river that are affected, but they can't really, there's too much nuance to try to describe that. So when they talk about it on the news, it has to just be a blanket statement of like, yeah, don't go to the river.
Yeah.
But there are like clean parts of the river, really beautiful parts of the river that are really nice to go to, you know, and like during the winter, I'll go cold plunge in the river and stuff. And like, there are like really clean, like really beautiful areas, but they aren't the popular places.
Yeah, no one's hanging out miles upstream. You know, you want to drink beers and smoke pot and do degen stuff on, you know, Dead Rock and you know, those places.
Degen stuff. What's it? Texas Beach.
You guys remember, still closed.
Do you ever remember the guy, the Texas Beach flasher, or like the Texas Beach naked man?
No.
Yeah. So I may be getting like this like factually incorrect timeline wise, but maybe 8-9 years ago when I had really never been to Texas Beach, I had a lot of friends that were going. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll check it out. You go down to all like the state named streets and you get to the little, you know, dead end. You get out, you walk down the trail, you walk along the river and it's just like a stream and then it opens up to like a beach.
Yeah.
Like just like this sandy cove, which is like, okay, this is sweet. It's like covered by trees, so if it's really sunny out, you get some shade. You kind of get like moving water, so it's not very deep. Really cool place to hang out in theory. But there were like tales of just this naked man who was always at Texas Beach, and then it turns out that this dude just went there butt ass naked pretty much every day. I guess he was like a retired just dude who wanted to be at the beach but naked. And then there was like a whole like it was like a gay community cove, and then there was like tales or like stories about like people just fucking in public. It got way out of hand, so I stopped going.
I'm stressed.
You got blasted by some guy in a trench coat, just like, welcome to Texas Nude Beach.
No, it's more like you go out and you're like, oh, it looks like there's people there. You get halfway through the brush and the trees on the trail, and you're like, that dude's naked.
Just sitting there like Sasquatch.
Rupert's sitting there just dropping trowel at Texas Beach.
Rupert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I didn't hear that. No. But no, Texas Beach, at least like the main entrance has been closed for like a couple years now. Yeah. Maybe even longer. I don't know.
Yeah.
For a long time, people just pull back the metal sheet and get through. And now they literally put a big bulldozer in front of it and like block the whole thing. Yeah.
It's like really reinforced.
Yeah. I haven't tried to go down there in years, so
there's still ways to get through, but you know.
I really like this part of the river. So we're in Carytown. Maymont Park is right there. So from this area down to like Pipeline, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And like you can walk down to the rocks pretty much on both sides, you know, various ways to get down there. One of my favorite things to do, like when I was younger, was go with my pops or go with my family, brother and sister. You walk down at 42nd Street, which is there's a parking lot and there's like a footpath or like, you know, just a path that people have walked on. And then there's the city constructed like spiral staircase. Go down there, you walk a little bit further. There's, you know, railroad tracks, you know, hop some rocks. It's like a little adventure. And then there's just these massive rocks that you can go and sit on. Got a little stream, some flowing water. If you want to get a little adventurous, you can go further towards the middle, depending on how high the water is, and like wade in the water and swim across to the other side, which is super risky, but you know, daredevils out there. But people would just be posted up all summer long. It's like the coolest part of the river. You just walk down there, free like water feature, free water vacation type of a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a bummer that it's poop water now.
Some of it, yeah. And there's a lot going on in the park areas around that too, like up towards this way, where they're actually like growing back a lot of the foliage and the I don't want to say weeds, like what do you call them? I don't know, but they're growing back a lot of that stuff because of the geese and everything. Because what they notice is like the geese go and they shit everywhere, man. And it's like, but it's insane. It's like too much, you know? So the city is like doing stuff about some of these things, you know? And it's what I notice, because I go on a walk every day, what I notice is it does seem like Richmond has started to put focus into the nature part of the city more heavily than they have in the past. And I think that includes the river, it includes the parks, it includes like wildlife and stuff like that, which it is exciting and it is pretty cool. But it's like Ryan said, it's like see it through, like follow through and do the thing, because we are in a river city, right? And the reality is like we do have a bunch of like wildlife and nature and forests and stuff around here. And it's part of the features of living here, and it's really enjoyable if it's taken care of, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a very special place. You get a cool city mixed with a cool river and all of the natural elements that come with that. It's going to be nice when it's fully developed and cleaner and actually enjoyable for people and children, you know? Like Dude, if I had a kid, I don't want my kid in that river. No. Yeah. Stay away, Jimmy, or whoever it's going to be. Jimmy. But like, you know,
Jimmy's the name at the top of Ryan's list.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that now.
Little Jimmy.
But for me I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
You know, one of the things, like when we were talking about just Richmond as a city and what it offers, you know, the Class 4 Rapids thing is pretty cool. And it's, if you go down the list of all the stuff that you can say to somebody who isn't from here, is like, what's Richmond all about? You know, you can throw that on like the top 10 of like what Richmond is known for. I'm from here, so I've been here, you know, I'm just turned 40, so 40 something years. And there's stuff about the city, even though it's relatively small geographically, it's not sprawling, but by so many miles in any direction. There's stuff here that I still haven't seen. There's stuff here that I haven't seen in 20 years. And then I go and see it. I'm like, holy shit, we have one of these. Like the Maymont, the farm that's out there in Maymont. Yeah. Or like you can go and like watch the animals and see the goats. And when you get in there, if you haven't been in a while, you should definitely go back. When you get in there, you walk through the little farmhouse, you see the animals like goats and chickens and things. And then you walk down this trail, and then you're in this massive park that doesn't seem that big from the outside. There's just like a giant open field and like rolling hills and these big trees. And then you take the course all the way down, and there's like bald eagles. And then you go a little further and there's black bears, and you go a little bit further and then there's like lions or leopards or whatever they got back there. And then there's like a trail. It just keeps going and going and going. Yeah. You're like, that was free. You can just walk in there any day of the week.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We live in a cool place.
It's true. And I live next to Maymont, so I walk through it all the time, and I love it. And it's like, it's a thing that you take for granted, because when you're young, you go as like a kid, you know, sometimes depending on what school you go to, but you go in there for little field trips and stuff, and then you just kind of become an adult and forget about it. But it is a beautiful place. It's over 100 acres. I'm going to a show there this weekend, right? Going to see Shaky Graves. So they do this thing, shout out music at Maymont. They put on great shows, like really great shows. And you go and like bring your picnic blanket, hang out, do your thing, and like really great music, big stage. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, being from here and still not knowing what's going on.
You don't know.
I didn't know about concerts. This concert series. Like you're just telling me about like, it's called Music at Maymont, and it's you're telling me like what location it is. So it's on the other side of the park. If you're in like Bird Park here, it's on the other side. And I'm just picturing like the big old house that's in there. And then they have this massive like maple tree or magnolia tree in the middle of the field.
Yep.
It's like near there. Like that's.
I mean, there's a ton of huge trees in Maymont. It's in the like main entrance, right? So if you're in like where Shields Lake and stuff is, like kind of on the backside of Bird Park, there is sort of like the parking lot side entrance. But if you go around to like where the gates are and the little garden keeper house right when you walk in, and when you walk in, the mansion's right in front of you and you're on the cobblestones. Like it's right in the field to the right. It's this huge field. There is a huge tree there. I don't know if it's a magnolia or not. And and there's, you know, normally hundreds of people, and there's like kind of a front VIP section, and then everybody kind of brings their own chairs, brings their own stuff, and sits in the back, and there's a bunch of food trucks and beer trucks and stuff. And I've been to several shows there, and like they're good shows. Like I've seen City and Color there. I'm going to see Shaky Graves this weekend. Like really great shows, really fun. It's a beautiful setting. And it crushes it. It's super cool.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah,
just under the radar.
Now you know.
Oblivious.
We'll take you.
Now you know.
Now I have to go.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about music and things a couple episodes ago in relation to Allianz Theater and what that's doing to the area. You know, Richmond is also a music city, and it has lots of really good venues. I think I've noticed one and like just an uptick over the years of events in general, but in events, multiple events of like the similar style, whether it's music or arts or food related, at the same time on the same day and the same weekend. It's almost like too much to get your hands on. You kind of almost need like a funnel of all things event wise to figure out what you're going to do or be exposed to all of like these new things. So I wouldn't have heard about the music series if I didn't talk to you about it, because it just doesn't kind of like come through my little feed or whatever.
Yeah. It's also sort of, it's almost like a neighborhood type thing too. Like that whole side of the city is sort of its own entity in a way, like all the stuff that goes on over there, like the Vita Trail and the Dogwood Dell Amphitheater and Dogwood, the dog park thing and the lakes over there. It's like, it's kind of this all encompassing little neighborhood, and everyone in that neighborhood knows about everything that goes on, right? Like Arts in the Park and all the festivals and all that stuff. City Stadium and the soccer game and the Carytown Farmers Market. It's just like, it's neighborhood stuff. So everybody that lives over there, it's like, this is the stuff you go do if you live in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really like, other than Arts in the Park, that's a big thing, right? Like most people, I don't know, do you know Arts in the Park?
I've heard of it.
Okay, like Arts in the Park is a big thing. I think like 20,000 people come through there every year.
It's huge.
And it's been going on for a long time. So that's like probably the biggest thing that happens over there. And then the series of festivals and shows and stuff that they do at Dogwood Dell Amphitheater are really cool.
Yeah.
So those are really fun to go to, also free. So there's a lot of really cool stuff over there. But it is one of those things of like, if you know, you know. It's not like a big citywide thing, you know?
Yeah. I have been to Kickers games, love Kickers games. That market, that Sunday market is
It's
amazing.
crushing it.
I love that market.
Me too.
I think it's probably my favorite market in Richmond. And it's just always a vibe. You're
Yeah.
right there. Next to that, you can go on a walk after, at the parks, and that neighborhood's great.
It's a good one because that market wasn't doing well for a little while. Like,
Really?
Yeah, like even like right before COVID, like there just wasn't a lot of vendors. There wasn't a bunch of people there. Then COVID happened, and then during COVID, of course it struggled. Everything struggled, but then it's really like been pretty poppin' the past like couple years. And even several months ago, they did like a mini kids market outside of the market, and the parking lot was like packed, so they had like,
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. They had a bunch of like kids vendors that were like selling stuff too. So like little
that's
young
super
entrepreneurs.
cool,
Like it was
actually.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Is that the
Wow.
one that's at City Field, City
Yep.
Stadium?
Yeah.
So it's called Carytown Farmers Market, but yeah, it's at the City Stadium, and it's a good one. I go there literally every Sunday. It's a lot. It's definitely one of the better markets. There's also the Big Market, which is like, I think it's called the Big Market in Bryant Park. That one's a good one too.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I just think it's too big.
It's
I
a
love
lot.
the size of the Carytown market because there at Bryant Park, you literally can't get lost.
There's a lot. Yeah.
There's so much, and that's one of the big factors. And you just walk in. There's food trucks right there. You can grab a coffee or food. Just something to take with you.
Yeah.
To drink or eat at the market. So I love it.
It's a good one. Yeah. It's definitely a good
The
one.
farmers market, it seems like it's its own subculture. I mean, I guess it is its own subculture.
Kind
but
of,
like,
yeah.
So the people that go there, obviously, like the vendors, but then like the people that go to farmers markets, they're like, I'm going to go to the big market at Bryant Park, and then I'm going to go to the small one for the kids, and then I'm going to go to the one in Dogwood Dell, and then I'm going to have $300 worth of shit that I'll use in the next 2 days.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you can only get this one type of pasta.
Yeah.
That has this one type of whatever in it at this one type of market.
You got to go see
and
your
you have
guy.
to go at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
before the line starts.
Yeah.
Now,
commitment.
but yeah,
Well, like when you find out the salmon at Kroger is just injected with pink dye, then it's like,
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to buy my fish at the market from
Exactly.
someone I actually know.
exactly.
It's like,
And it's cool to just support people that grow their own
For sure.
veggies, man.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's not more expensive than the store.
Yeah.
And that I think farmers markets get a bad rep because people think that it's going to be atrociously expensive. And it's like, no.
it depends.
It can
It
be.
depends on what it is,
It
of
can
course.
be.
Yeah. But it's not
It's not.
you get what you pay for, right? It's
Yeah.
like, you got one body, you got one life as far as we know. So it's like, if you're going to spend extra money on anything, it's probably going to be the stuff that you feed yourself and your family.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, people would rather waste money on sneakers and stuff. Like, I'm guilty of that too. But it's like, yeah, if I'm going to spend a little extra money on something, it's going to be my health and my food and my beverage. And yeah, it just so happens that money goes to my community and the farmers in the area too. So it's like, it's a win-win across the board.
Absolutely.
I love a maker's market. Like farmers markets, maybe I just haven't migrated to the farmers market yet, like the food-centric markets. I like a maker's market, like vendors that are selling stuff that's handmade or like produced by just one or two people. So you can only get it from them. And when they're selling, you know, they might have an online store, but they only do the farmers market. They don't have a brick and mortar. So if you like their stuff, you just got to go to get their stuff from them. That's pretty cool because there's a lot of really talented makers in Richmond, all kinds of stuff, textiles, clothing, candles and scents and, you know, aesthetically pleasing furniture items, all that. That's where I'd rather go. I think like we were talking about this a while ago, but I think it's the night market that has things that are more in line with that, like vendors that are selling clothes and shoes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so the night market that we talked about is at like the farmers market downtown on 17th, and they do have a night market, but there's a bunch of them. There's one at like, is it Stone Brewing? There's one called the Moon Market, and it's a maker's market. That's a good one. There's all kinds of different markets and stuff, but there's also little boutique shops and stuff too. You know, and they're in Carytown. There's even the one across from Lamplighter over on Addison. Like, there's so many like cool little boutiques and stuff. There's a lot of artisans, of course, in Richmond, and it's like you can get all kinds of cool stuff.
I mean, us physically here, we're surrounded by a lot of these markets and stores.
Any day of the week, you could get yourself a $70 coffee mug.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of local markets, this is reminding me of a story that a local market shared about spaces in Richmond. And it was just an Instagram post by Maven Made. And I don't know too much about them, but they sell plant-based, I don't know, I'm going to get this wrong, plant-based beauty products, I think. Forgive me if I'm getting that wrong, but I'm going to look it up here in a second. They did a little reel on Instagram about familiar spaces or shops in town and what they used to be. And this place came up on it. So our studio here was on that list.
Yeah. And
I looked into it a little further. The story behind this place and the person who used to run it is wild. So I'm going to pull up the Maven Made post really quick.
So it used to be like a bar or like a restaurant or something, right?
Yeah. So on their Instagram story, they have Richmond's LGBTQIA plus history. Excuse me. And, you know, that kind of scrolls through a few different places. The Faluca spot in Carytown used to be a place called Nick's Italian Restaurant. The Mulberry House, which is 2701 West Gray Street. And then scroll a little further, Smitty's and the Mailbox. That's what this place used to be called.
Wow.
Yeah. Bro. So their post is from 1955 to 1959.
That's my first time hearing that. Is that your first time hearing the name? Or has he told you that?
I don't know that I've heard Smitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smitty's in the Mailbox. So this cozy gay bar known as Smitty's served as a hangout for lesbians and was a popular spot to gather after playing softball in the nearby parks. The owner, Leo Joseph Coury, sold the spot in the 70s and it transitioned to the Mailbox, and obviously named catered to gay men. It closed in mid to late 70s after a patron was shot and killed. It was later discovered that Coury had dispatched the shooter because he wanted to regain control of the business. And I was like, that's kind of a wild story, but I know that there's got to be more to it. So I did a little digging and I found a bunch of stuff, but I also found an article on Channel 6 News from 2018, and it's a longer article, but the cliff notes, and it's like not pulling up here. Give me a second. So the long story is that this dude used to own a bunch of restaurants in the city and was known as the godfather of restaurants. And his angle was that he knew he could take advantage of gay patrons because they didn't have anywhere else to go. So he would buy businesses, make them gay bars, overcharge them, and then make his fortune.
Wow. And this was what, in the 50s?
This was in the early 70s.
Wow.
Yeah, so not crazy long ago.
Yeah.
There's a line in the article here. I'll try and find it. This dude. So Bill Harrison, the executive director of Diversity Richmond, remembers the clubs that Coury opened in the early 70s. The community, I think, looked to Leo as a friend, Harrison said, because he provided us with a safe place for the community to gather. Back in those days, we didn't have the organizations and the foundations that we have today, so the bars were the main focus of gay community. It kind of goes on a little further and mentions someone else named Bentley. There was apparently like intimidation tactics similar to like mob behavior. So this guy,
What is this guy's name? You said
Leo Joseph Coury.
I mean Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
That's some mafia
recalls
stuff.
this guy named Bentley. He recalls Coury inviting him down to the Dial Tone. It was a bar that Coury opened back in the 70s.
I will say these are great names.
Yeah.
Dude, the Dial Tone.
That's a really good name.
Mailbox.
Smitty's,
like,
what was it?
Smitty's and the
Smitty's and
And the Mailbox?
the Mailbox.
Dude, that is great.
Yeah, so Coury is inviting him down to the Dial Tone. He says, I've got some very good news. And he's sitting in the back corner at the poker table with a couple of burly guys. Bentley said Coury offered to buy his share of a business called The Cha-Cha. Not Cha-Cha's like Cantina, but The Cha-Cha. Take what you want here. Bentley recalls saying he had a big bag of cash. Could have been at least $50,000, but I'm not sure. Bentley said he rejected the offer, and with Coury telling him that he should think carefully about that. And the quote from Bentley is, soon we started having troubles. Somebody rode by one night and shot a bullet through the window, then hired a bouncer, and then the bouncer ended up getting killed.
Wow.
In 1978, 40 years ago, Coury was indicted by the federal grand jury in connection with the murder and another attack by an alleged hitman that left one man dead and two others wounded. That's what went down in this place, was the attack by a hitman.
Wow.
He was also wanted for abduction for ransom attempt of a local pharmaceutical heir and other conspiracies. He would be on the FBI's 10 most wanted list for 12 years.
Holy shit.
What?
Bro, how is that not a movie? How did they not have a movie called like Gangster? Like,
No.
bro,
Oh
how?
my God.
How is that not a movie?
Dude.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, you know, we got to film it.
We do, dude.
That's crazy, right?
That is insane.
That is one of the craziest stories I've heard in a while.
I was like, because the article, or, the post on Maven Maid's profile was just like a little blurb. I was like, this seems like a juicy story.
Bro, did they have any pictures of this guy?
Yeah, actually.
Can we get matching tattoos?
It's in our list. If you click on the link, it says FBI's most wanted.
Yeah.
There's a picture of him
Dude.
in there. He looks like a gangster. Look at this guy.
And he was gay or no?
No.
He looks like a Leo. That's what I was
Wow.
No, he wasn't gay. He was taking advantage
was
of the gay
just-
community.
Yeah.
saying. Extorting them.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Or
crazy.
exploiting them, rather.
Yeah, exploiting them.
The strange case of the missing mobster godfather of Richmond's gay community. That's crazy.
Yeah.
This might be one of the craziest stories to
I
come
think
out
he
of
went
Richmond.
missing. Like he fled FBI custody for 12 years and
Wow.
ended up somewhere. They found him and he either died or like killed himself. I can't remember.
Dude, we're all about the culture.
Yeah. Dude, or he took a private jet to the Cayman Islands and he's chilling there with a cigar
No,
right
I think
now.
he just went to California and
He's just out there.
yeah. No, he's dead. He's not around anymore.
Dude, that is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that this is the first time I'm hearing, like, really hearing the details of that, because it's like a shock factor. Like, what in the how?
Well, it's also hard to think about like how in the world this building would have been like laid out as like a bar too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have two doors. I would assume that maybe they were both there and this was like one big room.
Well,
like
back
you
then
come
they
in.
also had like smoking and non-smoking too. So it
Yeah.
could like because Joe's End is still like that.
True. Yeah, they
Not
have
that you
two.
can smoke in there, but that's how it was set up.
Yeah.
Like that's how it used to be.
Yeah,
is it was
yeah.
smoking and non-smoking.
I was
Well,
like,
The juicy part, I guess not the juicy part, but like the interesting part to me is the way he ran it like a mobster and like the stories that these people, including the guy that was the director of diversity, like talked about how he operated his business is just like, again, why did no one hear about this guy?
Yeah.
Like this is the first time I've heard about him.
yeah, it's
he,
like
like,
a
did all this
Richmond
crazy
legend kind of
stuff,
thing.
yeah.
I mean, F that guy.
Yeah.
But like, that's kind of, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, 12 years on the FBI most wanted list and hired a hitman to kill one of his patrons.
And this was in the 70s, so it's not even like it's irrelevant. Like that should still be relevant.
Yeah. And it should be a movie.
That's wild.
It should definitely be like
we gotta film that movie
should
now.
be like a Lifetime docuseries, though.
I'm writing the script. I'm starting on that tonight.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
It is pretty. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
you
You'll be on the
looking into
FBI's 10 top most wanted list for 12 years.
Yeah.
Bro, that sounds stressful, man.
And yeah.
Oh my God! Everywhere you go, you're like on a TV or
when you're on the
like
run,
in a news. Well, I guess in a newspaper.
In the newspaper, because this is pre-internet and all of that. So like you could easily escape custody if you just put a hood on and some glasses.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't CCTV.
Right, yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I guess you gotta.
Nobody's putting Leo on Instagram and saying,
exactly. Found him.
Yeah, no one's doxing him on TikTok.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy. Like he had to have done a bunch of shit because it doesn't go into all the stuff that he did.
Yeah.
You know, you got to imagine there's like racketeering and like probably some drugs involved.
Yeah.
You know, money laundering or whatever. Because if you're a gangster, you're not putting that shit in a bank.
this is why we need a documentary, like for real.
Yeah, that sounds wild.
So speaking of gangsters, do you guys know about the Continental dollar?
Nah.
The very first coin, like of America?
Before current money?
Yes.
Okay, no.
So like the 1776 Continental dollar.
Okay.
Literally it said, like, you know how now it says, "In God we trust"?
Yeah.
You know what it used to say? It used to say, "Mind your business."
It's the most America thing I've ever heard.
Like dead ass.
Here's
Literally.
your mind your business coin.
So look at this. It's literally a sundial, like an ancient sundial.
Oh wait, that goes kind of hard.
It goes hard,
does look
dude.
pretty cool.
Wait, that looks cool.
We used to be tough, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a challenge coin that you get from the military.
Yeah. Bro, it literally says, "Mind your business."
Mind your business. Yeah, take
All
this
right.
and mind your business.
It's pretty
dude.
tight. So it's called the Continental dollar.
That's
all right?
amazing.
It is believed to have been based on a design by Benjamin Franklin. The front of these coins bears a striking motto that captures the independent spirits of the founding patriots. Mind your business. Features a picture of the sun, its rays beating down onto a sundial next to the word fugio, which is Latin for "I flee." Together with the caption, this implies time flies, so mind your business. At the time, business was understood literally as business or commerce, particularly in the context of currency. So I don't know how much you guys know about like the founding of it. Like we just had July 4th, right? And everybody celebrates like independence,
Yeah.
you know, and it brings in like Juneteenth as well. But people think that like the Revolutionary War and like how America was founded was all about like people in Britain like rising up and being like, yes, free us from whatever. And it's like, that really isn't the case. It was like truly a group of powerful elites that wanted to not pay taxes and didn't want to get rid of their slaves. So they left Britain and came here to start their own country, right? And it was all based on like a lot of this stuff. So it's like pretty fitting, you know, they come here and it's like, yeah, in Latin, they put on their coin, "I flee," right? So they're like,
I'm
oh,
out.
you want more taxes from me and you want to take my slaves. So like, I'm out. And they leave and they found America.
Mind your business, dude.
Yeah, mind your business.
God.
Very interesting.
I mean, the coin. I think we bring that back. That coin is
The coin goes hard.
sweet.
The coin goes
It
hard.
does go hard.
There's a lot of really weird, interesting symbolism on our money. Like even today, you know, like
Yeah.
on the dollar bill, like
Yeah.
I find it it's like, okay, we're in America. Why is there a pyramid with an eyeball on it?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I've always been, and this is probably just me being naive.
Oh, you collect coins. You have some
Yeah.
cool coins. I forgot about that.
I don't collect coins.
Okay,
I
sorry.
collect money.
My apologies.
So
Yeah,
I
don't
have
make 'em
some
out to be
I
some
have
freaking
some
nerd, okay?
coins from other places because it's, I don't know, it's just cool to have money from other places.
No, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I actually have a pretty cool coin collection. I'm not gonna lie. It's from like World War II France and German money. And
That's cool.
I have a ton of cool stuff that my grandmother actually ended up getting me when I was super young. But I have like really cool like silver dollars.
That is really cool.
So
You got to bring those in.
I definitely will. They're actually really cool, and I know your brain would go nuts over them.
Dude, I find it so fascinating, man.
No,
It's so
I love
interesting.
the coin and like old money and stuff like that. I think that stuff is super interesting and why it changed and you know the evolution of it. It's really cool.
I've got some random dollars and stuff from like Russia and stuff. My dad's traveled a lot and he's traveled for the sport of wrestling, like with the US Olympic wrestling team. and they go wrestle in like Turkey and Russia and all this stuff. And so like I've got some random dollars, they're not dollars, but like currency, but like paper bills from other countries. But I've never really spent a lot of time like looking at them. But the America stuff's really
bust them out, nerd out,
interesting.
That just reminds me of like movies like National Treasure and like The Da Vinci Code and all the conspiracies around why there's an all-seeing eye on the dollar bill and why there's a pyramid. And like I like to kind of indulge in the conspiracy side of things, but I think I'm too logical for it to like really set in. But I love the story.
Yeah.
Like spin me some yarn, man. Like that's cool. Go off on it.
And it depends on the conspiracy though, right? Because if you look at like mainstream archaeology and then you look at the conspiracies, it's like, well, actually the conspiracy is much more logical.
Yeah. And I know this is right up your alley. We were talking, I don't know, maybe it's like 2 weeks ago.
We did
about
have a conversation.
The moon and like how you like love conspiracies. And we were disagreeing about what went down with the moon and all that stuff. So like I know this is
and I was kind of being cheeky about the moon. I don't know a ton about the moon. But there are some very interesting theories about the moon. Obviously.
He's like, it rings like a bell, man. And you know it's hollow.
But here's a better example. Okay. So Egyptologists believe that Egypt was founded during the early dynasties and that it's roughly 4,000 to 6,000 years old, basically. But if you look at logical evidence, it all points to it being significantly older than that, right? And they're like, oh, the pyramids are a tomb. It's like, oh, okay. Well, like, let's compare these to other tombs. And it's like, there's zero evidence that the pyramid was a tomb, right? There's never been a single, like, we're taught in school, like when we're kids, that pyramids are tombs. So you're like, oh, there must have been a bunch of mummies and stuff in here. No, never. Not a single one. There's not a single hieroglyph inside of the Great Pyramids. There's never been a tomb or a body or a mummy or a pharaoh ever discovered in the Great Pyramids. Not a single one.
Blowing my mind.
Huh.
Bro, it goes way beyond that, right? Like, I'm not going to go crazy right now, but like, here is a logical argument, right? The pyramids align perfectly with the constellation of Orion at a time period that's about 11,000, 12,000 years ago. And the Egyptians like worshipped many constellations in the sky, right? And so it's like, okay, that's really interesting because if you look at every other massive megalith or monument that was created on Earth, they all align with constellations and solstices and things like that. So why would it be the case that like maybe the pyramids weren't that when everything else in Egypt does align with constellations and solstices and the sun, right? The Sphinx lines up perfectly to astrological north. And if you look at, and I forget what it aligns with, but it aligns where on the solstice, like the sun aligns right above it. And the pyramids, all three of them align perfectly with the Orion constellation at that time. So to think that those weren't astrological markers is kind of wild. So logically, that makes sense. It aligns perfectly. They wrote about Orion and constellations everywhere, right? So it's like, it's not a stretch, right? But it is a stretch to say that pyramids were tombs because there's no evidence to show that.
It's bullshit.
It's all made up. Spin.
It's all made up.
I'm just saying, dude.
Yeah.
Then they find Göbekli Tepe, which proves that humanity is older than we thought it was. Göbekli Tepe is carbon dated to 26,000 years ago. So what happens is like all of this mainstream archaeology is flipped on its head because everything we know and all the books that we've written, everything that little Jimmy's going to go to school and learn is based on the idea that, oh, well, modern society started 6,000 years ago. Well, yeah, that's not true. So then the country of Turkey builds a tourism spot on top of Göbekli Tepe to stop archaeological research and then plants a bunch of olive trees, known to be one of the most destructive trees because of their roots, plants it all on top of this entire tourism site to stop you from finding out what is this site and what is going on with these modern people who are creating things that if we go by what is taught through mainstream, we weren't able to create this 26,000 years ago. But turns out, actually we were. So what's the truth then? Maybe ancient people knew a lot more than we thought they knew.
Go off.
So
King.
Anyway, bro, the more you dig into this, the logical part is the other stuff.
Yeah.
The mainstream stuff doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that for today.
Whatever you're smoking, I want some.
Yeah, dude, I got you.
Yeah.
It's at the farmers market in Carytown.
I call it passion, and I appreciate it.
It's very interesting. That's all I'll say.
That's the thing. Like I will hear a wild, outlandish outlandish story, quote unquote, and base that off of what I was told or what I learned. And at face value, some are more extreme or extravagant than others. After some investigation, it's pretty easy for me to usually see the undeniable facts. I really enjoy finding out what the truth is, eliminating the stuff that is maybe or could be, and finding out, okay, well, this is actually what happened. So if that's a fact, then this is a fact, then that's a fact. Then the conclusion kind of forms itself and you don't have an opportunity to make it up, which is, I think it's important when you're talking about stuff like history and facts and, where our future is going as people. You kind of need to have some sort of guidance there. Otherwise, we're just all spinning yarns. And, we think about the history of how we keep records. We didn't used to write everything down before we had a written language. We used to just tell stories. And there would be people in communities or villages, their whole job was to learn everybody's story and then pass it on to the next storyteller. The trouble with that is, and the trouble with us as people is, it's in our nature to take in information, analyze it, and then release it or expel it or transcribe it in our own words.
It's like that video of people passing the bucket of water behind them, and that's how stories get told, is that bucket misses the smaller bucket, and then that bucket misses, and it's just like, that's how it happens.
So the same way with, the logical explanation of like the pyramids in Egypt and the history of humanity and, all of that historical things. I like the science or the conspiracy of extraterrestrials and not ancient aliens, but science beyond our knowledge and planetary entities and all this stuff, because they're just stories that people have been telling for a very, very long time.
That also has tons of evidence along with it.
I was about to say.
So you can take the story and disregard the things that are just someone's interpretation, whittle it down to the facts, and then you have what happened.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
Well, also, like, when it comes to history in general, the truth is we have no idea, right? Like, we have no idea. Every ancient document we have is not an original, right? We don't have a single original document from the ancient world. Every single one of them is a copy or an interpretation through a religious lens, a political lens, a lens of power, a cultural lens, and they're written by scribes and gone through dozens, if not hundreds, of translations from other languages. We hardly have any like original documents, right? The vast majority of them are copies, even the ones that the Vatican has in the basement. They're all copies, right? So someone wrote those copies, and they include mistakes and different interpretations and omissions and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like even the entire Bible is just a collection of different ancient writings and translations, right? Yep. Like Jesus wasn't even mentioned or written about until almost 50 years after he died. Like imagine we die and someone writes about us 50 years from now. Like how accurate is that going to be?
Not at all.
Right? And dude, this goes on. I mean, there's so many examples of this when it comes to history, right? Like the Bible is a historical document. Right. But even like the book of Moses, like, dude, that wasn't written about until like minimum 1,000 years after the guy died.
Yeah.
So it's like we're all just guessing about everything. We have no idea.
You don't know.
You ever see the Book of Eli, the Denzel Washington movie?
A long time ago, yes.
So that's a great example of, Hollywood's take on what could potentially happen in the future if we say that circumstances in the future mimic or repeated circumstances in our far, far past. This collapse of society, the fall of modern culture, economics, religion, all of that is just gone. They call it a nuclear holocaust, the robots come and attack us, AI takes over everything, whatever. And then we're 50, 100 years into this dystopian future, and there is no religion, there is no organized government, there's none of that. And you got like sects of people in different parts of the world just kind of doing their own thing. And then you got this guy who's blind, but he is a devout Christian. You don't really know that that's his thing until you watch the whole movie. But his job, and it's a self-charged duty that he gives himself, is to retain all of the knowledge that was in the King James version of the Bible. And you don't know that until like later in the movie, so spoilers if you do watch it. And he calls it, actually, I don't think he calls it anything specific. He's like, I have this thing that I have to deliver to this place. And then there's a guy who's running a village in somewhere in the middle of nowhere. He's like running this town. He's like, I need what he has because that's a weapon. That is the most powerful thing on earth. belief. If I can convince these people can convince those people, and then all of them will believe in one thing, that's religion. It's a very strong, very powerful, very primal instinct for us to believe in something that's bigger than us. You believe in heaven and hell. You believe in the Quran. You believe in the Bible. It's bigger than you, and that like ties people together in a way that we really just don't understand. So this guy's like, I have to get this book, and Eli is always carrying like a little bag. There's nothing in the bag. Never had a book. He memorized the entire Bible, and he's blind. And it's not until the end of the movie that he's transcribing the Bible to the last person who runs the last library in the world. And it's in the middle of the ocean at what used to be Rikers Island or something like that. And he like swims all the way there. He's like, before I die, I have to get this out, and you have to treat it with like the utmost, responsibility or whatever. But
yeah, it's
just, the stories are a part of our culture, and belief is a part of being like a human. It's like an undeniable thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
It's also fun to just like believe in some stories.
Dude,
oh yeah,
100%.
Especially,
The
when you can
fucking
when you can live
scared
for
the
your
shit out of me.
16-year-old inside yourself, imagination it's awesome.
Yeah,
It
very true.
allows you to just like believe in those stories and bring them to fruition a little bit.
why I like
I love
movies.
that. I love that part of it.
Yeah.
I saw this video on Instagram. It was like of this little kid having a conversation with a flower. And it's like the cutest thing ever,
Yeah.
right?
See, yeah.
And there was a comment, there's a comment under the video. It's like, it'll be a sad day when the world convinces him that he can't talk to a flower. And it's like, it's true. It's the same thing with a lot of these stories and stuff. And it's like, we're just, you're convinced not to imagine and use your imagination and, and all of that. And it's, it's unfortunate. People think we're so technologically advanced now. It's like, I would argue that we are like a decaying society. Like, sure, we have AI and the
100%.
internet and all that stuff, which like, okay, cool. It's just microchips. But like, if you think of the way that people lived in harmony with like life, thousands of years ago, they knew what was up. They knew what, like they were far more advanced than we are today. It's like, dude, imagine we didn't have the internet. You had no resources, right? And like, you got some sort of life-threatening injury, or you got cut on a piece of metal and your arm got infected, you'd be screwed, dude. You'd be dead.
Mm-hmm.
But there used to be people who knew what to do.
Dude, people used to die by farts, man.
Oh man, that's not good.
What?
Yeah, diarrhea. It used to be a thing.
Dysentery?
Yeah.
Oregon Trail?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's not good.
I never beat the Oregon Trail. Not once.
No.
Just the bane of my childhood. Just trying and never winning. You remember that? Those giant floppy disks the size of a notebook? You
Heck
have it in
yeah,
your
man.
computer, and like it glitches and screams at you, and then you get like the little green dots on the screen.
Absolutely.
You buy a carriage and you buy a horse, and then your horse dies trying to cross a river, and you break a wagon wheel and dies of dysentery.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, I never played Oregon Trail. I was like,
oh, man.
I know. I was like a StarCraft, RuneScape,
StarCraft.
I still play
Battlefield
StarCraft from time to
type of
time.
kid. Dude, StarCraft is a good game.
I have it on my computer. I love just like getting on there randomly and just letting it go.
It's a good game.
I love that game.
It is good. Yeah, StarCraft is good. But yeah, like StarCraft, Battlefield, RuneScape. I don't know, maybe a couple others, but that's what I got.
Absolutely.
There's a game back in the day that like changed my perception perspective or perception of what video games could be. And it's actually where I got my DJ name from. So my DJ name, I'll tell you what the DJ name is, but I'll explain the game first. So this is in early 2000s, so like 2008, 2009, around then, on Xbox. And it was the first version. There's been like multiple versions of it. I think you already probably know what it is.
All right, I know.
And the concept of the game is pretty cool. You're a traveler or a pilot or a captain in a spaceship, and you can pick your pilot, male, female. You can dress them up, body type, outfit, give them a name, whatever. But you can fly to any planet in any solar system and just fly down and like do stuff, and then get in your ship and then fly away. There's like no mission. We call it an open world game at this point. So you could do missions, and missions will be like get resources or help another captain somewhere that needs rescue or whatever. Or you could just cruise around in your ship, just flying to different planets and like seeing what the planets are doing. That was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in a game, because
Sounds cool.
Most games were linear, step by step by step. Achieve this goal, you get another mission. Achieve that goal.
And when it came out, it really was kind of like a groundbreaking, like people were like, what is this?
Yeah.
And how do I get more of it?
The best part about it was not just that it was an open world game and you could fly it anywhere you wanted to. It was an interactive game, and depending on what you did in the game determined what would happen next. And it would always give you choices. And there were not infinite, but there were like millions of variations depending on which choices you picked. So you would interact with somebody, and now it's pretty commonplace, but you would have a prompt come up, and it would give you 3 choices how you want to interact with this person. And say, all right, you say, hey, my name is whatever, such and such, or
You could be like argumentative.
You could be really rude, or you could be like asking them for something, and then depending on what you said, they would respond in kind. I remember distinctly playing this game. It is a one-player game. You can't play with anybody else. In a room with my friends and my roommate, and they're all watching me play because of these like interactive
because
scenarios.
they want to know like what you're thinking.
No, don't say that. You need to get the thing. So you got to tell this lady you want to do that so you can get the thing. Like that's the coolest concept that I had
What's
ever
the
seen.
name of the game?
Mass Effect.
There it is.
Never heard of
You
it.
never heard of that game?
No, but dude, I'm about to go home and play it.
Legendary.
It
Well,
sounds
and
sweet.
they've made new ones since then, but yeah, it was like a huge game back then.
It does sound
And
cool.
it's really cool. I've always wondered why you had Mass Effects, because I was like, is it the effects of music or is it Mass Effect the video game? And I don't know how long I've known you at this point, 13, 14 years. I've never once asked you that question, so it's cool to now hear that.
Yep. That's where I got it.
That's
I
super
loved that
cool.
game, and I was just fully taken away by how
That
the
is
game
tight.
worked and everything. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a cool name for
Dude, your first music video has to be like in the style of Mass Effect.
Yes.
It's really cool, and
That's
it's
a
a
great
really
idea.
good looking game too.
Yeah.
So.
I'll be Captain, whatever his name was, Captain. I guess you could pick the name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there was like a generic
I think
captain
so.
name,
Yeah.
whatever.
What about Star Fox? It's like, do a barrel roll, Star Fox.
Do a barrel roll, Star Fox.
That was a good one.
I absolutely loved
That
Star
was a good
Fox.
game.
What's really funny is
memories, man.
in my near
So
future,
good.
I'm getting a Nintendo 64.
Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Star
Yeah,
Fox.
and I'm
Can we
thinking
set it
about
up
putting
in
it
here?
in here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we set it up in
I'm
here?
set it up
thinking
in here.
about. I think I already brought it up to you, but
Yeah.
in our lounge room,
Golden
doing an
Eye.
N64.
Super Smash Bros, GoldenEye,
Absolutely,
all
Star
the,
Fox.
all the wrestling games because they were terrible. We fucking had to play them.
I hated those games,
I
but
loved them. They're so bad.
What about He-Man?
He-Man.
You remember He-Man?
was that a game?
There was
No,
a
it was like-
cartoon.
It was
I
like
do
a
remember the cartoon.
It was
Yeah, it's like an
comic book
80s
and then a
cartoon.
yeah,
comic
yeah,
and
I
then a
do remember the
cartoon.
cartoon.
Power Rangers.
There you go.
Yeah, I was a big Power Rangers guy.
Nice. I saw this meme that said Amerimorphs, and it was like a picture of a woman morphing into a hot dog.
No, like Animorphs.
Yes.
Dude.
Oh my!
And it said Amerimorphs, and it's literally just like this woman, and she morphs into a hot dog.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Incredible.